40th anniversary this year, and we've been lucky enough to be invited to be a part of this whole get together, this whole shebang that's going to be happening on April the 12th and 13th at Blackbird, which is at Gilman Barracks.
Mm.
Currently, tickets are out on sale already, so you can go and check it out at the neonpulse.com. You can get tickets there. You can find out about all the bands that are playing. It's a whole cool 2 afternoons of great music from all the bands that were featured in Big O previously and have also made their mark during that period where Big O was the premier uh, pop music magazine from Singapore, I would say so, right, Kevin?
It's all you need.
Yeah, it's all you need. That was all you needed to know about any kind of cool pop
All
music.
you need to know.
All you need to know about any cool music at the time. Just pick out a
Yeah,
copy of Big O magazine. And
yeah.
so today we're going to be doing this special chat with a band that was featured quite a few times in the magazine. And what is the name of that
Yes.
band, Kevin? What's the name of the band?
Vomit Force.
Vomit Force. That's right. No, 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 no.
No,
No, no.
Boss vomit.
no.
Force Vomit.
Actually, it's perfect. No,
Boss vomit.
because when I first saw the name, I remember, this one must be a punk band. I remember all those years ago. This one must be punk
Because
band. Force
it's either
Vomit.
a punk band or either a black metal band.
Yeah.
Black metal
Yeah.
band. I'll tell you a funny story. We used to get all these like letters, like actual back in the day where people actually write letters, right?
Hmm.
So they probably see a name or address in a sign and all that, and then they they assumed that we were a metal band. So they were like all these metal bands from Philippines, from around the region would send us tapes and then ask us to like exchange tapes, like send our demos. Lah.
Wow.
They were super disappointed when they our tape and that's not heavy at all. Different kind of true story.
And that voice belonged to.
Yes.
Hi,
That,
Dino.
say that one more time.
This is Dino Vomit from Force Vomit.
Yeah, maybe the other guys from the band will want to introduce themselves as well. Let's go around around the table with you guys.
Irvin, you want to start first?
Let me introduce myself lah. Before you introduce me.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Hi. This is Alvin vomit.
Hey, finally we see him.
Yes.
Yeah, I opened my video long time ago already lah.
Oh, because you never speak, so you never came out.
Fast.
Okay. Now I'm introducing myself. I'm Fast Vomit. I'm the latest member of all the members.
The
He's the only-
youngest member, the baby of the group.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, this chat is because we're celebrating Big O's 40th, the Big 40, the Big O40, and so
Mm.
we just want to get you guys to chime in about your experiences with Big O, what you thought about it, and all that kind of stuff, and maybe we'll just take it um as we go along. Like you guys, Force Vomit itself, you guys had a very distinct, I would say, surf punk, garage, grunge kind of sound, right? But what were your biggest inspirations for music?
Well, I think when we started, like in the 90s, our influences were all over the place. But I would say between Alvin and me, I guess Nirvana was probably a big chunk of it, right, Alvin?
Yeah.
Nirvana, Metallica, Sonic Youth.
Pixies.
So it was all these like bands that we were like at first not sure like how to mesh all these things together into one. But I think the surf thing came like because of Pulp Fiction, wasn't it? It was a
Yeah.
Misa song on the Pulp Fiction soundtrack.
Yeah, at the time everything was kind of exploding. The movies, the music, they all came together, and then we decided to start to write our own music. And when we did so, I think we just wanted to sound Asian, like Asian sounding riffs,
Yeah.
which kind of like sounded surf. eventually,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and we were big into like very 60s like bubblegum stuff. I mean, not just
Uh,
the beat. Yeah, like Herman's Hermits, right? Like
Herman's
Herman's Hermits,
Hermits, the Hollies, the Beatles, of course, then Dick
very melodic.
Dale, and all these people. I remember when I first connected with Dino. I think he was wearing a
What was I wearing?
Metallica t-shirt. I was wearing a Beatles
Oh,
t-shirt.
you were wearing Ride
Or
the
the other way
Lightning.
around. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You were wearing Ride
Metallica.
the Lightning. I think I was wearing grunge like flannel, like checkered grunge.
So when we saw each other, we thought, oh, okay, okay, kind of like dress apart, and yeah, like the we kind of
Dressing came first before.
reconnect. Yeah, the fashion came first, and then we kind of reconnected because we thought that we kind of dress a part of the music.
Okay, well, I mean, like, for yourselves, I mean, Big O was really kind of like at its peak when you guys emerged onto the scene. Do you recall how did it help Force Vomit? How much of it was an influence for you guys? I guess to be in the mag.
Yeah, I think when we first started, we were religiously reading Big O, and I think at that point, if you're like a indie or underground band or like DIY band, it was like one of the aspirations was like to see your name in Big O. So we knew who the reviewers were, we knew who the writers were. Like we had friends who knew them, and we knew the bands that usually came out, people like Joe Eng and all that. And we would see them at gigs and all that. Um, what was the attitude back then, Alvin? Were we did we want to be in Big O, or were we being like super rebellious and saying like no, Big O was too cool for us?
I
We were
I don't
alternating
know.
between.
Yeah, we were kind of like, yeah, Big O is kind of like big and important, and if you were starting out at a band or were in a band, you will naturally gravitate to want to be in there. But at the same time, we're kind of like a bit like arrogant also. Being young, it's like, I don't need Big O, all these music magazines to front us. Like, we will do it our own way. And yeah, but obviously, when we did eventually found ourselves getting like a little bit of write up here and there, and Big O will be like, you know,
Yeah, proud.
get super proud lah.
Big O's all right. I think the first mention of our band's name was a review of one of the first few gigs that we did, one of the Heatwave gigs at Neon Polytechnic.
Was it Heatwave? I think it was
It was just
a
a one-line
substation
thing.
gig, right? Was it?
I
That
can't remember.
was.
It was a very short thing. And did they review the first demo? I think Wati, our mutual
Yes.
friend, did to one of the.
I think that is what I remember. I remember I remember Spaceman over Malaysia.
Okay, Space War Malaysia was
But
actually
that
from a second demo. So we had a first
ah
demo before that. I can't remember whether Big O reviewed it. The Malaysian
what
papers,
was the first first demo called?
Conspiracy Agogo.
Ah,
Yeah.
I saw that too. For sure.
Okay, but how we got deeply involved probably was the singles club with Spaceman over Malaysia. That was the one that Astral was in together with us. The Big O Singles Club of 1996. I think it was the second or third Singles Club, volume 2 or volume 3. So what happened was we just recorded our second demo, and Spaceman over Malaysia was the first song of that demo. It's like a 10-track demo. And then I remember we were just finishing school, and Elvin and I was just about to enlist in NS. And then there was a call in Big O, like, oh, we're looking for the next few bands to appear in the next edition of Big O Singles Club. Lah. And then we just put out a second demo, and we thought like, okay, why don't we just send them um the first song, which is Spaceman from Malaysia, and whatever, like, if they want it, they can call us. If not, we'll be in NS and all that. And I remember we busted the deadline. So Big O had this like date, like you have to send in between a certain date, but for some reason or other we sent it late. But we got a call back. I can't remember whether it was a call back or a letter or whatever, and say that, oh, we like this song and all that. But so we agreed to do that lah. And then, but the thing is, they told us that they wanted to re-record the song. The original recording we did in TNT with Aboy. It was very raw, it was very rock and roll, very DIY and all that. But they wanted this singles club songs to be on radio. I still remember, I can't remember it was Joe Ng who said that, or Philip, or one of the big old guys. Joe Ng ended up being the producer of the song. So he wanted to produce us. So he told us that, we're gonna do like a really radio crisp radio recording, like high quality recording of the song, and the demo won't cut it lah. So we reluctantly agreed, right, Alvin? I think at first we were like, the song is perfect as it is. The album recording was perfect as it is.
Yeah, despite the bad sound quality and all that, we thought
Yeah,
that
I thought it was
like
like, it had character.
redo a second version of it, right?
Yeah,
I can't. My memories are very vague. I can't even remember where we recorded
it was at
the
Mix.
thing with Joe.
At Mix Studios, Jerry was the engineer, Joe Ng was the producer.
Right.
And we were still doing BMT and all that. So we only had time like on Saturday night. Like one Saturday night, that was the only time that we could do it. So I remember we went there, Mix Studios, like super late at night with Joe. And then we recorded it. Like I remember he made me do so many vocal takes I lost my voice, and then he would make me drink like warm water just to regain my voice and record it again and again.
The only like distinct memory I have of the recording was after the recording, like Joe was like asking us, "Hey, you want to go for a drink or not?" Then we all don't want to, very tired.
Okay, I don't remember the post.
Then he must have thought, "Wow, you guys damn boring, sia, this band."
Oh, we went home, is it?
That was all. Yeah. We just went home. He's like, "What the fuck,
Well,
man?"
it was BMT, bro. We were
Yeah.
just like booked out in the afternoon, and by night we were
Very unrock and roll, lah. Yeah.
Okay, long story short, and then we went in, and then Joe took the songs, and he did the mixing and everything all, and then I think they went to mastering suite to do the mastering and all that. And when we heard the final recording, we were quite sad, right? We were quite disappointed because it was too clean. It was so sterilized compared to the Aboy version.
Not punk anymore.
It wasn't punk anymore. It was for radio. We understood like this serves for radio, but we didn't. Until today, I still prefer the Aboy version. But
Yeah, but it got picked up for radio eventually, right? I mean, which was like kind of great for us when they eventually sent it to John Peel, who played it, and there was like our 5 minutes of fame when that happened. So probably the Aboy version wouldn't have cut it out with John Peel, right?
Who knows? But we did end up remastering the Aboy version and mastering suite, and then it became like the levels was properly tweaked and all that. It became radio play, and I still think that was the better version for me.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, long story short, we had our little write-ups, we had our kind of thing with the big old singles club, and that was super good for us. Well, we got all the kind of exposure that we never thought that we would have had. Just writing the songs in our bedrooms, thinking that we'd just be playing to whatever crowd that we will be playing to lah. And yeah lah, without all of that, I don't think. I mean, that was so important to, I guess, the band experience we have and shared when we were like, just kind of like in our first few years with the band. So that kind of like
Let's put our name out there.
evolved us into like what we eventually became lah. Uncles playing rock still lah.
Yeah, and because of that singles club, because of all the press and all the write-ups that we got, we started getting a lot of gigs, right? And
Yeah.
it was during that time we were still doing NS, so it was like weekdays, then book out on Saturday, gigs on Saturday night, Sunday booking again. We did a lot of shows, man. We would play like everywhere, like schools, ITEs,
Yeah, one of the places that we used to play was this pub called Red Elephant at Purvis Street.
Red Elephant?
Yeah, was it Red or Pink Elephant?
Red Octopus lah, bro.
Octopus, not
Red
elephant.
Octopus, yeah.
So, yeah, it was me, Dino, and Ning, and they didn't pay us. They'll pay us in beer, and then Ning and Dino didn't drink, so it was very good for me.
Alvin took all the beer.
Yeah, I got paid in full, man.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned write-ups and stuff like that about the band and all that. I remember reading about you guys as well in Bigo, but do you guys recall any of the review. Do you used to read your reviews in Big O, or any of your features and stuff like that?
Read it
Yeah, of
many
course.
times, man.
That was all
Religiously.
Indian sport, man. We didn't really get very good reviews in Big O actually, the first few demos. Right, Alvin. The good reviews that we got was from the Malaysian side. Like
Yeah,
Joe
yeah, yeah,
Kid,
yeah.
the Malaysian newspapers, they gave us like super reviews and all that. We the Big O ones was like actually quite middling. The yeah. Well, it's good to have some honest reviews, right?
Yeah, not like unlike like what you see these days lah in the Straits Times.
Oh, really?
No lah, kidding lah. Relax, relax, relax.
Okay.
Actually, I may have, if memory serves, I may have reviewed one of your albums,
Really?
but I can't remember which one. But it goes up, maybe.
Probably the
Yeah.
first one which
Anyway,
you didn't remember. The first demo.
I think for the
maybe.
second album, which was put out by Big O Records itself, the review was Vinita, I think, Vinita Ramani. So it must have been
Oh,
Kevin. It was you. You must have done the first one because Vinita did the
could
second
be,
album.
could be,
Yeah,
could be. Yeah.
yeah. So
Memories.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it was that demos and then the singles club, and then our first album we did it with our friend Dwayne. He started a record company, but I called Leaf Records. And then but Big O was hugely supportive of that. They keep on asking us, like what's the progress? When is it coming out? Blah blah. And we want to put it on the cover. And then they actually asked us, like when would it come out because they were planning like the covers and all that, and they wanted to put us on the cover. So I think we had a kind of like a deadline, right, Alvin? Like, okay, Big O wanted to put us in the September issue, so let's try to have the album out by September or something like that.
I cannot
And again,
remember.
we
Sia.
busted the
Did
deadline.
did we really do things because we wanted to be on the cover so bad?
No, because we took very long to finish the first album, and we thought that we will be done by like that date, which I think it was September that year. But for some reason, because we were NS, we couldn't finish it by that time. So Big O went ahead with that cover, with us on the cover, but the album was not out yet. So it ended up being like, they're working on that album and it's coming out in the next couple of months. And if I recall correctly, that cover that we did with Big O, I think it was 97 or 98, probably 98, right? 1998 was like the first time that Big O had a local band on the cover in like a couple of years or something, or more than 1 year or something. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Really? Are you
Because
sure now? You got all these
Yep.
text
no,
correct?
I remember. I distinctly remember like Philip was telling me about it because before
Yeah.
that, was other stuff, right? Kevin was like,
Yeah, there was one period where you had like Michael Jackson the cover,
yeah,
Phil Collins on the cover. I distinctly
yeah, it was
remember
like
that Phil Collins.
so, and which I thought was weird.
Yeah. Anyway, side story,
Gone
right?
mainstream.
We aside from the band stuff, right? We kind of also got involved with like writing for Big O, because I mean Dino obviously is a legendary journalist with
Thanks,
the
man.
Straits Times now.
Yeah, $50
And I also
I
have
just paid
a
out to saying it.
I also have a career in the media. So whatever stuff that we did to get our byline out, I was doing like DVD reviews and stuff, and then Dino was doing whatever he was doing just to, put our names out there, and we kind of like eventually made careers out of like what we are doing, but it all also kind of like joined the dots and connected it back to where we first started getting our names in print with Big O also.
But that was after we came out on the cover because I remember it was around 1999.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
Philip just randomly asked me, "Hey, would you like to do like CD reviews for us?" And then I was like, "Sure!" Like send over all the free CDs, so I'll listen to them and write about them. And that's when we started. And then
And then
Alvin
Dino
got
passed me shit that he didn't want to listen to.
Alvin, you write. And I think Bigo was just welcoming any writers who want to write because I don't know about you, Kevin, but we were all doing it for free, right? There was no payment involved. It was just
No payment.
exactly.
But it kick-started a lot of people.
Yeah,
right?
it started like my writing career, like at my
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
likewise.
sometimes
Yeah.
that is something we don't really put much emphasis on, but I think that is something that is important as well.
Exactly. I started with the CD reviews, and after that, at one point, Stephen and Philip asked me like, "Would you like to interview other bands?" And I'm like, "Yes, absolutely." And I started doing. I think the first band I interviewed was probably Manifest, who went on to become Urban Karma, and I was Brother Bo, and then I went on to interview like Plain Sunset, Stone Revivals, and all that. It was mostly about like it was during that period where Big O started like putting local bands on the cover again, and I will do all this like the cover interviews. I'll do all this super extensive like long interviews. And we'll just dump everything inside. Like it was in Big O. That was yeah. Those
Oh,
years were fun, man.
okay. Well, I mean, speaking of that, I mean, we're going to go into this part. We'll cut it out, but we're going to go into the second segment at the moment, and just get the stream of consciousness anyway.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
When we are
okay, okay.
conscious, when we are conscious, yeah,
Consciousness.
All right, all right.
yeah. Well, let's talk about the force vomits. The band and the evolution and becoming a band. You've been, like you said, once you got featured in all the write-ups and stuff, you started getting all these gigs. You're playing, at Bay Beats even and playing all these bigger stages and stuff like that. I mean, what I guess would be the best or the wildest gig that you guys have ever done? What would you say is the wild one?
Fast, you
Me,
want to take that? What was
Maybe
the wildest
the
gig
wild
ever?
one is I can see is that Rock the World, Stadium
I
Bukit
just want to
Jalil. I
ask you,
think
Faz,
that
were you in the band already at that time?
sorry?
Well, it was definitely you. You were playing drums, right?
Yes.
We had so many
Then the
drummers at one point,
the
and
crowd was massive. At that point of time, I think the crowd was very massive. I think we were enjoying ourselves on stage.
it was definitely the biggest crowd we've ever played to. I think it was like 30,000 people at Stadium Merdeka in KL.
Mm.
Not big, no. Wild, no. They
It
want a
was
wild story.
wild, bro. It
Wow.
was wild. If we didn't have that gap between the audience and the stage, I think we would have had
What about
stage.
the after gig party? What wild after gig
After
party
gig, we
story?
couldn't get off the stage right fast. We were like mob like rock stars, and these people were
Yeah,
like all over Malaysia, from Kelantan, from Terengganu, from all the different states, you could hear all kind of different accents, like trying to pull us and getting us to sign stuff and taking pictures and stuff. So
So you felt
yeah,
like wings at that time.
it were like wings, man. Wings, not the Paul McCartney wings, but the Howie wings.
Yeah, man. So were you bigger? So you were bigger than Wings at that point in time, Is that fair
In
to
my
say?
head, lah, in my
In
head, but in reality, of course, it was a different story lah.
Well, I mean, speaking of that, that was in Malaysia, but okay, here's a question that we're going to put you on the spot with. Like,
Yeah.
did you ever feel that Singapore was ready for your kind of music? The f-
Oh, definitely not. I think Elvin will agree. Definitely not, right?
Yeah, I think for me personally, I just wanted people to like, hey, we make quite good music. How come people are not reacting to the music that we were playing? Right, during the early days, right, we thought that we were the shit, right? Writing all these songs with all these riffs, but yeah, lah, we were a bit too not heavy enough as compared to the hardcore and the metal guys, and not um
We
indie
didn't.
enough for the indie bands. So it's kind of like weird in between, but we thought that we were quite groovy, right? You know?
I think it was a conscious decision as well, right? We were very strict about not sounding like any other band in Singapore. I mean, Alvin and I were quite critical. Like, we go to gigs, like local gigs, and we will like criticize every single band, and we'd be like, no, that guy's like obviously copying Nirvana, or that guy's obviously copying like Pearl Jam and this like that.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
didn't want to be like that. We didn't want people to come and go to our show and say, oh, this is Singapore's version of so and so, whatever. We wanted to have a sound and a look and a style that was distinctively our own and didn't sound like any other band that was playing
Yeah.
it.
We were
So
even being critical without being intelligent. Ah, okay lah, fellows, they already are. We're the new guys coming to take over.
we're teenagers, of
You
course,
said
all
that,
the
right? Dino, remember?
so
But yeah, that was yeah, we take it back now.
yeah, it was funny, and despite all the write-ups that we get, like we play in Singapore, right? The response is usually is quite muted until we started like playing in Malaysia, and then we realized like, oh shit, that's
And again, back to the big old thing where we got more positive reviews, and Spaceman over Malaysia became a thing. Then people like start to kind of like recognize the music a bit more, or like kind of be more open to the music because it is in the media, so it must be good.
yeah, and we were never really part of a scene like the way, for example, like Plain Sunset was part of that whole punk scene, right? So they were part of that community, and every gig they will go, that community will go down and support and all that. We didn't really have that, right? It was so weird. It was
Yeah, actually, the one of the nicest moments I remember playing was I left the band like partway through because I thought that was like cannot get along with creative differences, cannot stand his
really
face or no lah, kidding lah. So we were just leaving, and I wanted to do my own thing for a bit,
video
and
shop at that time. We just started a video shop, right?
yeah,
A
yeah, I
video.
just started a video shop at the time. And the so-called final gig, inverted commas, at the time, it was at Neon. I can't remember whether it was a big old thing,
No, no, it was in
but
Nia.
it was in Neon, right?
Yeah, it was one of those like final year project. It was a heat wave, part of the
Right,
heat
right,
wave.
right. And yeah, then we played, and then suddenly people were dancing, and the crowd was getting into it. I'm like, fuck, man, I think I made the wrong decision to quit. But anyway, yeah, I did. So that was memorable because I never experienced like people reacting to the music in a physical and open way. Previously, it was just like everybody just sitting down and just like not really doing much with our songs, lah. Right?
Yeah,
Hmm.
actually, the first time anybody actually like got up and started dancing and like moshing to our gig was Neon Poly as well, but I think it was the year before that. It was that year that Spaceman Over Malaysia came out. So I think there was a lot of curiosity about what Force of Meat was like. Maybe people had just heard one song, so they wanted to see what we were like at the gig, lah. And we were still doing BMT at that time, I remember, because it was one of those things like book out in the afternoon, then go down. And our hair was still botak, right?
Yeah, I was
And
wearing a songkok at that time also.
yeah, and then people from my
Something like what Chris is wearing today, right?
oh yeah, 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 yeah. And I thought Elvin was Malay because he was wearing a songkok. I thought it was, yeah.
Yeah.
And then yeah, lah, I remember somebody actually threw a cup of water at me at the show, and I took it as a compliment because like that was what punks were supposed to do, right?
Oh
Then
no, I remember there was a Singapore Poly gig, and then we played some song, and then you started dancing, and then people started booing us. Remember or not?
that
It was
was
like
before.
fucking,
Okay,
huh?
Elvin, you got all your timeline all wrong. That
Wrong
was before,
ah. Okay, okay,
that was before Spaceman of Malaysia. That
okay,
was we
okay.
were still in poly, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
This
was
must be
bad.
how you
That
got
was
busy.
bad.
I mean, I guess the thing is, when we mentioned a lot about Spaceman of Village, because that was the first really like first big
That was a
hit
song.
for you guys, right? But I mean, I will argue that City actually is like has been like the song for that's Force Vomit equals City, City equals Force Vomit. That's your like calling card now.
That's the final countdown.
That's the final countdown.
Yeah. We should play City first next time. And then people like, hey, what the fuck?
Yeah, and then they will go home after that. Yeah. Maybe someone will stay for Spaceman of Malaysia, but
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, but because I mean, the next question is going to be about influencing in whether you see yourselves being influencing like bands further down the line and stuff. Like have people come up to you and say, hey, I wanted to be in a band because I saw you guys play Spaceman or City, and that's why I'm in a band or something.
I think the most obvious person is Afami from Pinholes. He was there at all the early shows. He will be there. He will be there he would introduce himself to us. He would introduce his singer, his band members, and all that. And it turns out he went to school with my younger brother. So yeah, he was there. He was always supporting us. We would be jamming at Mix Studio, and suddenly he would be there at the door, looking at the window, and I would be like, "Whoa, this dude!" Yeah, and then he started pinholes, and then the rest is history. And he's always given us props. And
Oh,
I
that
re I remember couple of years ago I was on the MRT train. I didn't tell you this, Dino or Fast. So I there was this kid listening to music on his earphones, fucking loud, and then it was City on his earphones. Then I'm like,
oh,
hey, I wanna. It would be weird if I told you tap on his shoulder like, hey, good song or whatever. But that was like kind of nice lah to hear that.
yeah. I mean, I did a program last year with Inch, and we were going through like history of local music and stuff like that. And one of the songs that got quite a lot of reception because we were doing this for secondary school kids and stuff. And one of the songs that really got everybody like cheering at the end was City. Because the band did a cover of City, and it was everybody was like, "What?" I mean, seriously, this like, like kids screaming for like BTS kind of vibes. That's what I got lah.
but that's nuts because how old are they? Like the song must have been when the song first came out. They must have been.
Swimming.
I don't even think they were like a twinkle in their dad's eye. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for me, like the thing that broke City in Singapore was the funny thing is Elvin wrote the song and then he left the band after that. So we recorded the song without him lah. And then we had to like promote the album and stuff like that. And around that time, like Najib Ali was very like quite close with us. So he got us on all the Surya shows and all that. And I think one of the Surya shows that we appeared on, we played City. And that became a hit among like the local Malay community, like TV watching community. And then radio picked it up because we had a friend who knew a DJ on Malay radio at the time. So we passed her the single and all that. And she started playing it, and a lot of this, DJs that they played it a lot. So I think it started from there, like Malay radio and Malay television, and somehow it just crossed over and went everywhere. And then it went to Malaysia, of course, and then just, yeah, rest is history.
Well, I mean, like since we're talking for the upcoming show, that's gonna be at Blackbird, April 12th and 13th. Get your tickets today, kids. Yeah. Let's talk a bit about the upcoming show. I mean, like, what does it mean to you to perform at this anniversary show?
I think it's I mean we're definitely down. I mean Bigo has done so much for us. And I think the biggest surprise was like for a lot of people was like, oh, Bigo is still around. It's first of all, I think Philip made a very big announcement. The editors made a big announcement about how they're shutting down the website like a couple years back, and then that was a sad moment for a lot of people. And then to hear that Bigo is actually, I don't know whether we say that they're back or they're actually celebrating the 40th anniversary. I think is a big moment for everyone, especially like coming a few months after Michael's passing, which was an even bigger blow to a lot of people who were active in the scene back then.
Also, yeah, I mean, we are always down for playing gigs lah because first of all, like a band who like of our age, you don't know how many more times to get asked to play a gig. So it was, I think, definitely we are quite buzzed for it. And it's not just that we see the different bands that we are going to be playing alongside with on the bill. That is like awesome because all these bands we would remember seeing at World Trade Center, or kind of like be reading about, or listening when we were still in our